A spectacular performance. Curry from half court. Sometimes, something looks like it's been there a while.
Man will probably outweigh me by 70 pounds. And you get put in the rim, got to be more careful.
We are here, the 3 Points podcast after a fiery game, an absolute clutch thriller till the end. Another one of those games for the Warriors this season. We've become accustomed with that. But this time we were on the winning side of it. And for the last 7 games, we've won 6. So things have been looking better. We got a couple things to talk about today. The biggest thing, and I think that's where we're going to start, before our recent guys, help me here. Our recent form is going to be the NBA trade deadline. We
made some big moves.
made some big moves. Oh, how can I forget?
We really did make a big move.
An absolute thriller move. A jaw-dropping move. Corey Joseph is no longer an NBA player, not even a Golden State Warrior. He's just not an NBA player. He got traded to the Pacers for a second-round pick, and then he got waived.
And nobody picked him up.
Big surprise.
He's gonna be having some fun overseas, probably. Pull up Kemba Walker.
He's gonna join Anthony Lamb on the fucking Australian team.
New Zealand
team. It's just like a very casual summary of the Warriors' last 2 years. That there's now multiple NBA players who are getting heavy rotation minutes for us. That the second they left our roster, couldn't find a home on any other NBA team.
But who other than Anthony Lamb?
Just like what's it 2?
Oh, they said this has been very telling of the Warriors.
I said it's a little, kind of a little side story to the Warriors last couple of years.
I mean, Bielitsa are retired. There's got to be other guys. And who else is on the mid team last year? Who's basically our bench last year? Because
Anthony Lamb.
I mean, I was really just thinking of Lamb and Joseph. I was just saying.
DiVincenzo's kind of popping off. Actually,
what?
DiVincenzo's kind of popping off. Actually,
I mean, no, DiVincenzo's a role player in any team. He could play in any team.
DiVincenzo's been playing like a star for the last week and a half. Obviously, it's probably not sustainable, but dude, he's been killing it.
Yeah, I don't know why DiVincenzo kind of reminds me of CMC.
Facial features.
Christian McCaffrey, right? Low key, they both kind of have this weird. Although CMC has this insane stare, dude. His eyes are
dude. CMC he's the embodiment of every construction worker ever. That's his. he has the look. He looks like if he wasn't playing in the NFL, he would be doing construction. He looks like he'd be from Philly doing construction,
yeah.
2 blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he does. that's my response. That means I got nothing else to say about NFL. Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. Without a shadow of a doubt. That was horrible. That was our beginning podcast days. That would be our analysis. Dude, yeah.
For real. So true.
So true, bro. So true. So let's circle back and get back on topic. We did trade
before we talk about Warriors. I was kind of curious, who do you guys think won the trade deadline as a whole? Any team in particular? Go New York.
The popular. Okay, Wes,
go New York.
Wes is trying to nudge me in a certain direction. I would say I think the popular consensus is that Dallas did. I loved the Daniel Gafford pickup, mostly just because I love Daniel Gafford as a player. I think he's really underrated. He already had a huge game for them today, in a big game. And I just think, just in generally, not just because of today's game, but he provides them with a lot of what they're missing, a little bit of size, a little bit of athleticism down low. He's a great rim finisher, which Derek Lively, who's the other guy in their big rotation now, is very much not. He's one of the worst offensive bigs in the entire league. So pairing him with a guy like Gafford, who's a decent defender, but really his strength is being a lob threat and finishing opportunities on the offensive end. I think that was a great move for them. They picked up one other person who I can't remember.
Who is it? I mean, they got rid of Grant Williams.
That's the other thing I was going to say. I'm sure anybody who's an NBA fan knows of Stephen A's famous rant about Kwame Brown, where he was analyzing the trade. He said, first of all, they got rid of Kwame Brown. The Lakers should be throwing a parade right now. I think after watching Grant Williams play for them for half a season, I think that's how a lot of Dallas fans kind of feel about the fact that they shipped him out. No disrespect to him, but he did not have the greatest first half of this season. And I think for both parties, it's probably best that they were no longer attached to one another. He gets a fresh start, they get a fresh start. They brought in Why am I feel like the name is right on the tip of my tongue. I'll know it the second I see it. PJ Washington,
Oh yeah, that's the other
who
guy.
is actually kind of in the same vein to Daniel Gafford. He is a bigger guy, but with actually, more of an offensive acumen. He can stretch the floor a little bit, attack closeouts, attack the rim, do all that kind of stuff. So that would be my answer. Wes, I'm sure you want to talk about the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely the Knicks won. Like we said, DiVincenzo was playing super well, so it kind of made shipping out Quinn Grimes not like such a big loss, and you get Bogdanovich back in return, so that's like pretty good. I just think that forget what their coach's name is, but he just runs his players into the ground. So I don't know if like Bogdanovich is gonna get much
Yeah.
minutes. He's a great he would be a great like off the bench. He's like starting quality and he's off their bench. So like that's
Yeah.
pretty incredible. But yeah, I mean,
How do we feel about Dinwiddie to the Lakers?
oh he's officially a Laker.
To be a Laker.
Oh tough.
I could not care less.
Yeah, I don't care anymore. I mean,
I think it's just another like D'Lo-esque type player. Like he'll probably play well. He's not a very good defender. He's
Terrible defender.
he's a solid offensive player. Kind of like D'Lo, inconsistent.
Inconsistent.
Yeah.
And he's
the-
old.
The thing is, like, he's not a consistent enough shooter to be like a true floor spacer. He kind of needs the ball in his hands to really be effective on offense. Attacking the rim, playmaking. But like, they already have D'Lo, they already have Austin Reeves, they already have LeBron. They need the ball in their hands. Like,
it's just redundant, I think. And I
just
thought they were gonna ship
feel
out
like a
one
very
of them.
redundant player for them. And I don't think, it's not in a way where like, okay, sure, it's redundant, but at least he's another quality player. I don't even think he's a good enough player to be, unless you have a very specific need for that type of player. I don't think he's a quality enough player to really go after. But if I'm the Lakers front office, if he's gonna be willing to come and play for us, why not? Right? Somebody could get hurt, right? So I mean, I understand the move. I don't think it alters anything really.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do any major trades. Like they didn't ship off D'Lo or Austin Reeves. They basically had a relatively silent trade deadline like we did.
Yeah.
Now I guess let's shift over to the Warriors. I know for the last couple of episodes we've been just repeating the same things. We've been beating a dead horse. Dunleavy, we need a trade. We need a trade. We need a trade. Oh man, put a package like Wiggins, put a package with some picks, put a package with CP3. Boom, we could go to the Wizards, we go to the Nets, blah blah blah. We ended up doing nothing. And I think without overreaction, like obviously my first initial reaction was like, holy frick, it's Jover, the season is done. But then, after talking to Thomas a little bit and kind of, I guess, sleeping over it, it was a tough market. It was a tough market. Thomas made a really great point, and you know what? I won't even steal it from him. You could just say it.
Okay, look, here's kind of what I was talking to Hassan about. When you think about the players that the Warriors were really targeting, you think about Siakam. He was gone and we were outbid. There was no chance we were ever getting him. That Pacers offer was better than anything we could put together. And I think anybody who wasn't a biased Warriors fan probably could have seen the writing on the wall about that anyways. Markkanen didn't even end up moving. Tyus Jones, a guy who I wanted, didn't even end up moving. You talking about guys like DeRozan or Levine, didn't even end up moving. Obviously, I know none of us would have wanted DeRozan, but some people were talking about it. Levine, same thing. We weren't like banging the table for it. But again, Mikal Bridges didn't end up moving. Nick Claxton didn't end up moving. Dorian Finney-Smith didn't end up moving. The market was clearly not a buyer's market. There was not a lot out there for teams to go and get. The one thing I'm a little bit bitter about, I already talked about Gafford, why I like him. I would have loved for us to be the team that went and got him.
And also,
it's not like the Mavs exactly have, and Olynyk. Those are two players that did end up moving that I thought, okay, I wish it was the Warriors who had gotten them. But neither of those are exactly the kind of players that are going to completely make or break a championship run. I'm not going to, turn course and say, no, I didn't even want to trade. Like, I really wish we had got one of those guys. And I did genuinely think that this team was a trade on the margins, like seventh or eighth guy away from being a contender. I don't know if my mind on that has necessarily changed. Like, I would feel so much more confident if we had made a trade. But it's hard for me, especially me, who's always the most optimistic one of the three of us, to sit here and watch this team win, 6 out of our last 7 games and look this good and be like, no, but the fact we didn't get Gafford is going to sink us. Like, I'll let them prove me wrong on that, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like my opinion on the trade deadline is like looking back how desperate we were. Like, I mean, at one point, like everybody was on the table except Steph, and that's just like, I mean, I can't even imagine what that does for like the chemistry in the locker room. Like, any one of our guys can be like gone. Like everybody's in trade talks. Like Kaminga, Wiggins, they're all seriously in trade talks. Clay, Draymond, they're all seriously in trade talks. That's just got to be like hard to play through, and like I don't know, like having that competitiveness, even though like I don't know, it doesn't really seem like there's like a lot of cohesiveness. Like Clay could be gone like tomorrow, Draymond could be gone tomorrow, Wiggins could be gone tomorrow. I mean, Wiggins is playing a whole lot better like now that the trade deadline is over, and it seems like that's kind of like a huge weight lifted off the entire team because you're not worried about getting traded. I mean, Corey Joseph, I guess, sorry, but like
Thank God.
once
Well,
people,
you guys don't want to be one who says it, I'll say it. Thank God. No more
yeah,
seeing you sub into the game and feeling my heart sink.
No, I think
but
Wes
like
really highlighted a super duper underrated point. Obviously, as fans, we don't understand that the minute and the under level things that go into being an NBA team. It's just the mental aspect of it, the team chemistry aspect of it. Oh my God, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I could get a call from my agent and be like, hey man, you've been traded, you've been shipped off, you're gonna be going to the East Coast now. It's like, oh my God, I gotta go, I gotta move, I gotta do all these things. And it really does, I guess, limit your motivation because you're like, okay, dude, why put in 110% when I could just be gone tomorrow? Although, of course, I am disappointed that we didn't do anything because, again, I've been the most conservative on the trades since the beginning. Although, yeah, I started saying we do need a trade. Like at first, I was saying we don't trade at all. But then you guys convinced me that yeah, we should do a trade. I didn't think we needed a big banger trade. I never wanted to trade Kaminga.
He was the only one, I think. Yeah.
I think I was the only one. I think at one point I did say it once, so if I'm being fully honest. I think some episode, perhaps I may have said like, man, because I think we were on like a good run or something. I was like, oh no, or we were struggling or something like that. And I said, but I think my overall viewpoint has been to never not trade Kaminga. And it's proven right. It's not worth to trade him. He's an absolute beast. Wes in the chat mentioned, my comparison for Kaminga to Giannis isn't as absurd. I know Thomas is smiling a little bit. It's not as absurd as it was before because offensively, and I know back then I said offensively he's like Giannis because obviously defensively he's not anywhere near that caliber of a player.
Yeah.
But offensively, if you look at his game, I think he has a better jumper than Giannis. I trust him more shooting the ball than Giannis. Does that mean he's a great shooter? No. But if you look at just his game, just the ability to just run through people and go to the rim, just without anyone stopping you tonight against KD, who is 7'1", 7 foot, according to a lot of
he's
people.
a solid defender, very solid defender.
Officially, he's like 6'7".
Officially,
He insists on saying that, but yeah.
Officially 6'11", but the point is, who's a solid rim protector, a lot taller than Kaminga. He's just running through him like he's not even there. So
Tissue paper.
literally. So that's what I saw back then, and I think that's been proven right. Thomas, you were smiling a little bit. Do you mind, I guess, explaining why you disagree or agree or whatever?
I just know it's just the like. I mean, to compare a player who's like 20 years old who's never had a single All-Star appearance, All-NBA appearance, averages even at this point in the season 16 points a game, to one of the faces of the league and a former MVP, former Finals MVP, former Defensive Player of the Year, and just generally consensus top 5 player year in year out. Still seems a little bit absurd to me. But if you're talking about the similarities of their offensive game, the way that they approach offense, the way that they attack the defenses, I have to admit I do see it. I will say though, I remember your comparison being less about the approach and more about saying that he could turn into Giannis, which I thought was a little bit ridiculous. But I understand your point 100% if you're just talking about the way that they approach offense, the way that they attack the defense. I actually do see it. I will admit.
I think if I recall correctly, I was saying something along the lines that his offensive game ceiling is that of Giannis, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I said. And I specifically said his offensive game because I know his defensive game is nowhere near that. So that would just be absurd for me to be like, yeah, his overall gameplay will be Giannis. Doesn't make sense at all. But I think the point still remains. He has been playing really well. And it's a great thing we didn't trade him because if at the age of 21, he is hooping like this, give him 6 years, he continues working on his game. Fingers crossed he develops a jumper. And Thomas made that point last episode or the episode before that well, everyone says this about everyone, about Giannis, about every dominant player who can't shoot really
Even
well.
Ben Simmons when he was young, not anymore. Even Ben Simmons when he was young,
But
people were
that's
saying
the
that.
key, though.
But Kaminga already has like an all right jump shot.
does,
Like it's not like it's
exactly.
non-existent, you know?
Yeah.
100%. That's my whole point. He's only 21. He already has a reliable-ish jumper. When I see Kaminga with the ball, if he's wide open from three, I feel comfortable with him taking it. Even from a jumper, like a step back midi, I honestly am not super comfortable with that, but I wouldn't be like, oh my God, what is he doing type thing. So there is substance there, and hopefully he works on it. So
Okay.
Kaminga did not go ahead, Thomas.
I would like to say one thing. When you think about the players who are mediocre to decent shooters, but not quite good enough to really space the floor, and who have been like that for a while and stagnated, you're thinking of guys like DeMar DeRozan, Giannis, AD. I'm trying to think if there's any others. Maybe even you could talk about Zion. What do these guys all have in common? They're guys who are so incredibly effective at attacking on offense in other ways, usually by attacking the basket. DeMar, he has his mid-range game, that they've never quite needed to really work out a great three-pointer for themselves. Again, I'm not saying Kaminga, I think, is about as close as you can be to like spacing the floor without really being like a floor spacer. But I'm just saying, when you have a guy like Kaminga who him attacking the basket is always going to be such efficient offense for him. The desire to develop a jumper or the amount of work that you're going to put into that might be a little bit less. Again, not that he couldn't. Like you could like obviously the most famous story is like Kawhi. You look at like a Brook Lopez or something like it's possible, but it's also not Joel Embiid, but it's also not guaranteed. And it's important not to act like it, like it's guaranteed.
Absolutely. And I think, at the end of the day, everything we do, everything related with sports analytics, talking about sports commentary, nothing is guaranteed. You have no idea about anything.
No, you're gonna wake
but
up tomorrow.
all you don't even know if we're gonna get up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Kyle Shanahan said that.
So did
Tons of people.
No, Kyle Shanahan did say that they asked him about like a game plan, and he was like, "Hey man, we don't know if we're gonna wake up tomorrow. I'm not gonna tell you."
Honestly, I respect that.
I think that was a
Is he
legendary.
religion?
I don't know, but that was a legendary quote.
Probably some devout Christian there. Because that is a banger statement. Absolutely. So with that being said, will he develop a jumper? No one knows. Would I like to hope he will put in the work to develop a jumper? I would say I think he will, because if you look at his trend over the last 3 seasons, he has become a better shooter than when he came into the league. And that's not saying much because obviously everyone becomes a better player other than Ben Simmons when you get in the league. So we're going to have to see on that front.
Yeah.
Not also trade a couple other guys, CP3, Wiggins, Moody, Picks. How do y'all feel about that?
Wait, what'd you say? What was it?
I'm saying that we also did not trade a couple other guys. Obviously, Kaminga was our hot discussion for the 4-ish episodes where we were just like discussing, do we trade him? Do we not trade him? But some guys we all were very, very sure to just get rid of for anything solid other than Wiggins, because in the end we kind of turned on that tide a little bit. We were kind of like, maybe we don't trade him. He's a defensive positive, whatever. CP3, Moody, Wiggins. And then
obviously all our picks.
And our picks.
Yeah.
So how do we feel about that?
I mean, my thing with Wiggins is like, yeah, I feel like it would have been a mistake to trade him because like no matter what we get in return for him, it can't be as good as he possibly can be with us. Like right now, what we're seeing and what we saw in the championship year is like a second best player on a championship team, like an elite defender, a solid 3-point shooter, a pressure inside. Like he was defending Devin Booker insanely well, and like him and Kuminga to start the game, they were kind of like I said in the chat, like first team all cooking Devin Booker and Beal, and that's just like having 2 guys on your team who can just like take smaller guards inside, especially 2 stars, like make Bradley Beal and Devin Booker work a little harder on the other end of the floor so that their job's they're a little more tired towards the end of the game. And it just like having two guys like that on the floor is just like incredible to help Steph alongside. It just like expands the offense exponentially, you could say.
Exponentially.
Yeah.
Wow. A little throwback. If the loyal fan base would recall, was that our first kind of thrown away account, or was it on this account? I think that was our old account. I said something about JJJ.
That was a wild.
X-Men.
Oh yeah.
That was like it was a fantasy league thing. That was like you would send a text to somebody and said X. Maybe it
Oh
was
yeah,
you said
I think that's
you said
true.
you were trying to sell. You was trying to convince somebody to do a fantasy trade, and you said JJJ, he's gonna improve exponentially.
Oh, it was Hamza.
And so obviously, the joke became like, oh, what's he gonna do? Like
like
average like
7 trillion
400
blocks.
billion blocks next season,
Right, right. So they're helping Curry exponentially. Thomas.
yeah. But also, I also did want to say like, and this has been like highlighted by other people. It's like initially the lineup of like or any combination of like Wiggins and Kaminga was like the like really bad, but now it's like our best lineup has been Steph, Gray, Kaminga, Wiggins. I don't know like who a fifth guy would be, but like Draymond has like completely unlocked that like that duo. That duo is like deadly together, and like it's just like so fun to watch them go to work. But yeah, that's
um,
what I had to say.
my only thing would be like if you're thinking about guys that we didn't trade, Moses Moody probably should have gone. I'll be totally honest. He didn't get any minutes today, and that was with CP3 still injured. So when you start thinking about it, with CB3 healthy, our guard rotation is so deep. There is at least one guy who is just again, assuming there's no injuries, which to make a finals run, we're gonna have to be assuming anyways. Uh there's gonna be one of these guys, one of our guards who's not getting any minutes, especially now that Lester Quinones is emerging as like a viable, threat in the rotation. Uh like I'm not saying it's like the end of the world that we didn't trade Moody, because who knows, maybe he had no market anyways, but like he is the one guy on this roster I can say with 100% certainty I would not have been broken up at all to see him, and maybe you could have gotten him and attached a pick to him and seen if you could get anything. Obviously I'm sure Dunleavy might have tried that. There was nothing out there, but if a deal had gone down involving him, it wouldn't have killed me.
I did not even realize Moody has been back for the last 4 games.
He played last game and he was kind of the offense is kind of stagnant with him on the floor. I mean, it's also because he doesn't get like any minutes at all, unfortunately. Even
Yeah,
though
he's
he's
been
like all
back since
right.
February 5th. He played
Yeah.
15 minutes, then 19 minutes, and then 13 minutes last game, and then he played a whopping 0 minutes today. I just, Thomas and I were talking about this during the game. Kerr confuses me with his rotations a lot. And I wish when I was younger, I was a lot more quote unquote analytical of the game. Not even analytical, but just kind of noticing the small things. Because I just don't remember Kerr's rotations when I was like 12, 13, 14, when the Warriors were in their peak or prime or whatever. But I just don't understand why Trace Jackson Davis is getting little snow minutes. Then first, second quarter, he got no minutes. And in the middle of the third, when it's a tight game, you abruptly put him in. He's not really warmed up. He's not been in the game at all. I just didn't understand that move. Moody.
I mean, I kind of like the idea of just like subbing in like a really young guy who has fresh legs against a veteran team who's kind of like I don't know like any young guys that are on the Suns other than like Bull, I guess. I don't know, but like anybody else, I don't know any young guys that can run with like Pods, Trace, Kaminga. That's like a fun squad to just like
To me, what I didn't get is it's related to the same thing. I didn't understand why so he subbed Trace Davidson. I want to say at like the 7 minute of the third quarter, which is when he usually makes like his first sub of the quarter. But in the first quarter, when it hit 6-7 minutes, he subbed in Looney. I do not understand personally, given the way that Looney has played over the course of the season, why it would not just be Trace Jackson Davis. Trace Jackson Davis has outplayed Kevon Looney at every opportunity, with every opportunity he's gotten. There's no real question. Again, to me, it's not. I really do understand what Hassan is saying. It's not like, oh, why play Trace Jackson Davis? It's like, why sub in Looney in the first, and then abruptly switch to Trace Jackson Davis in the third? Like, that kind of seems almost like a move you'd make if you're trying to feel out which one of them flowed better. But it's like, game 58 of the season or whatever. Like, it's pretty clear at this point that as of this season, Trace Jackson Davis is a more effective option at the center position than Kevon Looney. So to me personally, it was a little bit odd seeing that, but I'm glad he made the switch to Trace in that third quarter.
I think I unfortunately feel like Kerr is doing this more out of a factor. Again, you never know for sure. I may just be overthinking it, but a factor could be potentially Looney is his guy. He's been here for so long. He just feels wrong completely keeping him out of rotation. And Trace Jackson Davis, he's a young guy. you could just kind of limit his minutes a little bit for a game or two. I don't know. I just don't understand it at all. Trace Jackson
I
Davis.
mean, I mean, to a certain extent, I kind of agree with that a little bit. Like you feel out your guys. Like I mean, now like at the beginning of the season, Wiggins was playing like hot trash, but now he's back, and now because you trusted him to eventually like get back to his form, and you get rewarded for that. So, but
But
I
I
don't know
think
if like
the problem
Looney's
with
problem
Looney is
is
not about he just forgot to play basketball, right? Like Wiggins was just like maybe like his kids are not his again. So it was more about external factors. For Looney, it's very much internal. He's slower. His knees and stuff are not the same.
Hips. You always
His
say knees.
hips.
You always say knees.
Oh, it's his hips.
His problem is his hips.
I see his hips. I think maybe I say knees just because like traditionally
Yeah, it's
big
true.
men
Yeah,
their
fair,
knees
fair,
kind
yeah.
of give out type thing. But yeah, his hips not really helping him out. He's slower. He's less mobile. His offensive game is not very great. Even his rebounding now is significantly worse because obviously if a piece of I just got a text. Apologies, guys. You see the way Steph won by one of my friends. I'm on Do Not Disturb, so he had to click the still notify button. Thank you, Malik, for that. Shout out to Malik on the pod. I did see the way Steph won. So, anyways, back to my point. So, uh,
like
please,
2 hours late.
yeah, I know, literally. Please, Kerr, give Trace some more time because I really want Trace to get comfortable in the lineup before the playoffs begin. You don't want to mess around with that because you do the same thing in the playoffs. It's a lot more intense. It's a lot more risky to put a guy who's not fully warmed up to the game. And guess what? He can make a couple of sloppy plays, whatever. Game is out of your hands. So I don't understand that one. Second thing is Moody. He's another thing I don't understand. Last playoffs, Moody was there. Kuminga did not get any minutes other than garbage time. This season, it's the literal opposite. Moody is getting little to no minutes. And obviously, Kuminga is hooping. I just don't get the consistency. And I did say another again. I said a couple episodes ago. Kerr seems to have lost his touch in rotations and stuff like that. I may just be in recency bias because I don't remember when I was younger how he was doing his rotations and such. But for Moody still being as a Warrior, I guess my take is I honestly like it because in my opinion, I think Moody being on the court, he is just a consistent, a guy who's there who does decent defense. Decent, I'm saying by the eyeball testament. Decent meaning he'll be in front of the guy, he'll give hustle, he'll give energy, he'll give effort. I don't think he's like an elite defender or nothing like that, but I would say he's a neutral or maybe even slightly positive defender. Offensively, he does his role. He's kind
He's
of
pretty
like
limited. He's pretty limited though. And
he's
like
limited, but why do I say like he does his role? What's his role? It's kind of just like a catch and shoot type of guy. He can't really play make. He's kind of like what we expect like a later in his career Kyle Korver type vibe.
Except
Do
he's
you guys
not.
feel that vibe?
I mean, you know what's funny? Because he kind of almost plays that role in our offense, except, Kyle Korver's like one of the greatest shooters of all time, and Moody's just like
Exactly.
an above average shooter.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Look, to me, here's what I'll say. As long as Lester Quinones is on the roster, which he's going to be for this foreseeable future, there's no excuse not to give Lester Quinones the minutes over Moody. That, at this point, it's clear that's what it's coming down to. Lester Quinones is getting the minutes that Moody would have gotten. And I've seen some people on Twitter and stuff complaining about this, and I'm sorry, watch the games. Lester Quinones is a better player. He's more explosive. He can attack closeouts. He can attack off the dribble. He can beat his man. He plays defense with a ton of energy. Moody, I will admit, that is the one thing. Moody is a solid, above average defender who plays with energy. But so is Lester Quinones. And Lester Quinones on offense is maybe a slightly worse shooter, but it's not by much. But he can the way that he can attack is so much more varied. He provides you with so much more options with what you can do with him instead of just sitting him off, at the wing or in the corner, letting him be a catch and shoot player. Like
he was Lester Quinones is guarding D Book, and like I don't know, like him and he's insane. Like picking up full court.
And I also trust
also
Quinones.
in transition.
Exactly. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, he has the athleticism and the handle to really make things happen in transition, to push, to be aggressive, which again, Moody, you're not gonna see that out of him. So
Absolutely. I trust Quinones bringing the ball up, for example.
Mhm.
Moody, not so much. Moody is a very traditional shooting guard. That is the vibe I get. Just a super traditional, like older shooting guard type vibe. Not really a playmaker, not really much of a ball handler. Kind of in the corner, setting screens, going by the play design, shooting an open shot or two. But obviously, he's not an elite of that role. That's the problem. But I think it's just kind of like a warrior bias type thing. Like I don't want to see him go. But if I were to think of it like removing myself from the fan bias, he should have been traded because it's just then really redundant. You're not giving him minutes. He's just sitting around. Go let him thrive in a different team. Let
Yeah,
him
and
play.
you could probably he's still like a useful player. I just don't think he like perfectly gels with our offense. Like he's a pretty good shooter and good defender, but he doesn't like move off ball too much. And like that's just kind of what I noticed last game when he played pretty significant minutes is he kind of just like passes it and then like gets it passed back to him and just kind of stands in the same spot, not really not really like progressing the offense. That's kind of like what Kaminga has learned now. Like you can pass the ball, move, go to the dunker spot, move around and run around because I mean you're young, you can like use your energy better that way. But Moody doesn't really contribute in that way, unfortunately. So I think he could be better used elsewhere. And we could have gotten stuff in return, but
Yeah, I really want to see. I personally want to see him given more minutes. I personally do. I would rather him than CP3. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? CP3 is a significantly better dude to bring the ball up. But
they're
I
kind of just
feel
different players. So I don't
yeah,
know.
actually, I just think that maybe that's just it's not a really great take. I guess what I'm trying to say is this: I would rather, since we didn't trade Moody, I'd rather give him more time than CP3, just because I don't see CP3 being a much bigger positive to our team than Moody is. Like that, the gap between the what CP3 provides to us versus what Moody provides to us, I don't think is very big.
I mean, I would agree that CP is kind of redundant now with like Lester and Pods as like pretty solid backup point guards behind Steph. Like I really like them bringing it up the floor and like Kaminga like, running alongside them is just like beautiful transition offense and like we got pretty solid shooters around them. I just don't think CP and Moody are kind of insignificant to me, honestly. Like
Yes. That's my exact point. I feel like CP3. Okay. I kind of figured out a way to articulate this. Let's look at our team over the last 7 games. We've been playing well. Why is that? Our pieces are playing well. Kaminga, Quinones,
Wiggins, Draymond.
yeah, Wiggins, Draymond, and GP freaking 2. By the way, we did not even talk about him. I kind of forgot he was coming back today. And holy moly, what an apparent impact. Like it's like it could not have punched you like more like straight in the face. He is so he's been so missed by us over the last God knows how many games he missed. He's been probably the majority of the season.
But yeah, by far the majority of the season.
And-
Two separate injuries, but basically they're basically concurrent because he got injured in the very first game he was back. So
And he's back. And luckily the injuries have not impacted his game at all whatsoever. But we forgot about that too while we were discussing like the trade pieces stuff. Because again, what was our main key point? We're so close yet so far. GP2 is a piece that brings you so close, right? He's that piece. He's one of those dudes in a trade, like a Daniel Gafford type of guy.
yeah,
Where it kind of takes you a step over that finish line type thing. And we've been forgetting that we have not even been using him at all. And oh my God, he's so good, dude. Oh my God, he's so good. He is the Aaron Gordon for our team. He's the Aaron Gordon, literally. I was about to repeat the same thing twice. He's that for us. You give him a ball anywhere in like as a lob in anywhere near the rim, he is somehow getting into the net. Somehow.
Yeah.
I remember on the Draymond Green show, a fellow host of a small podcast. We were invited on the show. We rejected it. It was a little bit too small for us. He was talking about Aaron Gordon. There was a football player he gave a reference to. I don't know. You probably didn't watch. You don't
I
probably
didn't.
don't watch it.
I don't watch it regularly. I catch clips, but
But he was giving an analogy to a football player who basically if you threw anything.
Randy
in it-
Moss,
Possibly, I
Tyler
don't know.
Johnson, Megatron.
Maybe.
Those are the only two names I could that I guarantee was one of those two. Actually.
We
I said that.
will check it afterwards. But yeah, one of the it was like you threw anything in that region, catching it for sure.
Okay.
And GP2 is that guy for us. And he's been back. He's been playing really well. But with that being said, back to what I was originally trying to say. CP3 and Moody are insignificant to our team. They have nothing to do with our team right now. And I just don't see CP3 coming back and giving us any significant boost whatsoever. I just feel like it would be like a nothing thing. It doesn't really hurt us. It doesn't help us.
Yeah, I mean,
guys.
I do like his veteran presence, I guess. I mean, that's kind of like intangible, but like having like
I mean,
another
his veteran
player-
presence, like he's doing that while wearing like Essentials Fear of God sweaters on the bench. While
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't really care if he's playing or not, but like as long as he's like there, I kind of like his
Listen, I
presence.
have some bad news for you guys. You are both aware he's gonna get like 35 minutes a game when he's back, right? Like 100%.
Whose minutes is he eating to?
Quinones gone out of the rotation. Any minutes Quinones are gonna be gone.
If Kerr does that,
He's going-
which he will,
which he will.
that would be the dumbest
It will be, but it's gonna
to do.
happen. I'm sorry, guys.
because CP3, at least look, maybe I'm missing it, guys. But the games he played for us in the beginning of the season, that's when we were playing atrocious. We could not do much. I feel like when he's there, he's not doing much. He's not really doing much for us. It's just like he's just there. He's literally just there. He's
Yeah.
not existing on the court.
I mean, look, the thing is, like, when he's playing, like, he definitely still, especially as a playmaker, he still flashes playmaking abilities that are, like, I would say, except with the exception of Draymond, the best on the best on the team. You can see, there's like CP3 is within him. Like, he's not CP3 anymore, but there's moments where CP3 kind of comes out and he makes a pass. You're like, wow, that's just a shockingly good pass. I can't believe he did that. But like the CP3 who was controlling the ball every possession and making those passes multiple times a game and controlling the entire flow of the game and managing an offense, like that guy's gone, and he's kind of just a role player who's a bit too small and old to play great defense, has a jumper that's not, completely unthreatening to a defense, but not threatening enough to, make guys close out aggressively.
Yeah.
Who's not athletic enough anymore to really attack the basket with any type of ferocity, and whose mid-range jumper is less effective than it's ever been. Not that it's not effective at all. He did have some moments where he had some big mid-range jumpers for us, but it's still nowhere near the it was in like 14 to 19, or the CP3 everybody remembers. So like he is a clearly diminished version of himself on basically every front. But with that being said, Steve Kerr is still going to give him like 30-something minutes a game. It's probably going to eat into Draymond's minutes a little bit, because the reality is with how unathletic and immobile he is at this point in his career, he basically plays the role of a Draymond Green on offense, but obviously with none of the defense. Great player, by the way. I love him. If you can tell.
Who, CP3?
CP3, yeah, no, I love
yeah.
CP3. Yeah, he's like Draymond on offense, but without the defense. That sounds like a great player. That was the joke I was trying to make. But that is basically who he is. So I think he's going to definitely take away all of Quinones' minutes. I think he'll eat a bit into Draymond, and even a guy like probably Gary Payton will get a little bit less minutes, because
Hopefully if he gets like 30 minutes.
What?
Hopefully he gets like 30 to 35 minutes, he can get another injury, I guess, and then just
Yeah,
sit
exactly.
on the sidelines.
Yeah, guys, actually, wait, we don't have to worry, because by the time the playoffs come around, he'll definitely be injured. Even if he makes it the whole regular season, the last game before the playoffs. Oh,
In like a critical moment when we need him, he'll get injured.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, we're gonna find out soon enough. Do we know when he returns?
He's like shooting around. So from what I've heard, it could be anywhere from like 2 weeks to a month. Who really knows?
Yeah, hopefully it's a month, because it could give more time for Quinones to like really
so
get
bad.
Solidify.
Because I think the thing about Quinones is that like you could see he's still not fully comfortable and confident to just be like, okay, I'm gonna take my shot. You know what I mean? And obviously, rightfully so. You don't want this dude to just like who just got into the lineup to be like, kind of like the Jordan Poole thing, like, oh, I'm just gonna dribble up, do a fancy thing, pop a shot, and then if I make it, cool. If I don't, I'm gonna keep on shooting until I do, and I'm gonna do a tongue stick out, shake my arms.
But I do think he has like the perfect amount of confidence where like he can tell if it's a good shot and he'll take it when it's right and it's like in the flow of offense.
I was gonna say the opposite. Like I noticed a couple of times that he was a little bit hesitant to shoot like an open three. Not like open, like he was wide open, but like there was a closeout coming and he would kind of do a quick pass away.
Is this Quinones you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah. Who do you think I was talking about?
For a second, I thought you were talking about Brandon Pajemski.
No.
Because I was like, I think that could actually describe either of them.
It could describe either of them, but Podziemski sometimes, like when he needs to, he could do a quick step back and like a rainbow shot.
I think it was at a weird moment in the game where you just kind of pull it away, and they were like, so it wasn't like a huge shot necessarily, because we already had like a 2-point lead, But like that, hitting a step back three like that in late in the fourth quarter in any situation.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was in the corner. He was like he was kind of moving to his right. And he felt was falling away in the corner. Step back three. It was good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I for whatever reason I feel like the commentators didn't like react that strongly, and I was like, guys, that's an insane shot for a rookie to
Yeah,
make.
but Devin Booker,
Yeah.
range on
Oh
range
my God.
on range.
Don't do it to him, Devin. He's dancing. Oh, what a shot! Oh, Devin Booker.
range on range on range. The cringiest crap ever. Bunch of old people at the commentary booth.
Oh
Bro,
my
they did
God.
put Chris Smoove on the commentary team.
Dude, for real.
Where what maneuver could possibly be smoother? Bro, I would die if he was on the NBA Finals commentary team. I mean, that would be the greatest commentary of all time.
That'd be so sick.
You guys want to talk about Draymond's like a little revenge from
Oh,
when he originally got suspended? He came back.
he
the same
owned
guy.
that fool, bro.
He owns
He
him.
owned that fool. Like unbelievable. And you know what? Like, what's the funny thing is that so like Nurkic did the type of thing where it's kind of like, I'm gonna give a little bit of an analogy. Like Thomas and I on the court. I'm like more of the Draymond. I'm like chirping nonstop. But what will Thomas do? He'll act like he's not even listening. But it's like the subtle thing. So that if Thomas will hit a big shot, he'll be like, yeah, or something like that. You'll say some like subtle thing to me once, and then he'll go back on the other side, act like nothing happened. That's exactly what Nurkic was doing. He was trying to like ignore Draymond, not really say much, but then every subtle moment you'd see him like at a like a pan shot, he'd like shove him.
You know, they're bumping shoulders, you know, that kind
Exactly.
of bullshit.
But Draymond chirping from the goddamn beginning, and he proved him right. He hooped like we are nothing
Too
without
small.
and literally like bro, Nurkic, you're like you're what 6'11", 7 foot.
He's 7 foot even, I think. He's a 7
You're at least you got like what 70 pounds on Draymond. Draymond's 6'6", 70 pounds lighter than you, and you're doing that too small on him, bro.
Pick on someone your own size, bro. Pick
pick
on
on someone your own size. And then for the same, literally on the other side of the court, for that to get happen to you, little bro.
Draymond's a man. He was
Hall of Fame.
writing a script.
Hall of Trash talk?
Instigator.
Instigator. Hall of Fame
Hall of Fame
instigator.
instigator. So love to see that small dub. Another thing, another question. Thomas and I were talking about it. I think it was on Twitter or something like that. Steph Curry, clutch player of the year.
Ooh.
Not
They're
a
making the
super,
case.
not a super big award.
They're making the
obviously,
case. I'm just saying.
but I think without a shadow, it has to be. Like it maybe again, I'm not super in tune like you guys are in the rest of the league. But come on, dog. The
Dude,
most
DeJounte Murray, low-key, yeah, but he had like 2 back-to-back,
The guy who would have a case.
and
man,
he cooked us.
did it to us.
He's hit like 4 game winners in like the last month. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, Darren
So-
Fox set the bar pretty high when he won it the first time. He was like insane and like I don't know, but
We're gonna
I mean,
that's
Steph's
where
had-
the
Steph's had
who
moments,
actually gives a crap. I mean, no one really cares. Something
Yeah.
like the Man of the Year award. That's an NFL award for our listeners at home. Search it online. You'll see what it is. It's
It's the most important word they give up.
on a grandeur scale.
Yeah, yeah.
On like on the Day of Judgment type scale.
Yeah.
When you get up, you're getting judged for your deeds. Who's gonna be up there? The Man of the Year.
Walter Man of the Year.
The Walter Man of the Year.
That's
Guess
for
who
the
won't
matter.
be there? The MVP? Probably not. So, anyways, not a super important award, but I think Steph is definitely in the conversation for that. It would be another thing on LeBron. So come on, get it, Steph.
Dude, I still think they invented that award to try to get it to LeBron, but it hasn't worked out yet. That's the only
That is
reason.
really
That's
funny.
the only reason they could have added that award. The same thing with the in-season tournament, but that won't work.
Oh God, in season tournament. Don't even mention
anyways.
that. But I also want to say one brief thing before we kind of move on to like our future games, where we are in the standings, and then a little bit of trivia. Wiggins, we were talking about how he's been playing. Like tonight, he scored 12 points, 5 of 13 from field goal, and then 1 for 4 from downtown, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. But today it didn't feel like a good game to me.
No, it was not his best game.
really.
It just didn't. He was missing. It was a lot of bricks. It was, I mean, too precise. It was 7 bricks. No, sorry, not even 7, 8 bricks. And I feel like throughout the game, when it was, I know at some point who was on the court. It was Clay, Wiggins, Pods, Dre, and
Kaminga maybe, I don't know.
I think it was Kaminga. You're right. There was no real dominant offensive player like Steph. Like obviously Kaminga, but like they were giving the ball to Wiggins and stuff, he just was not really able. He was not. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. He was not able to get anything done, is what I felt. And I think Thomas and I were talking about it. We watched the game together. Like, it was like, I don't know. I feel like you felt the same way.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think it was a particularly bad game from Wiggins, but I think like it is just one more point of evidence for his. I don't know if we're ever gonna get 2022 Wiggins offensively back. I think he's been creeping back towards that level defensively. He's like he's definitely having the moments defensively. Like again, I don't like ball watch Wiggins on defense. It's always harder to judge how somebody's performing on defense unless you're actually like ball watching them every possession when they're playing. But I have genuinely noticed that I never seem to see Wiggins man do anything. Like I never see a shot get hit and it's Wiggins. When he's on the court, I never see a guy drive past Wiggins. I never see a guy, dunk over Wiggins. Like it's always on somebody else. Which is nice. But on offense, the three, it's still not there. The jumper is not where it was in 2022, and it hasn't been there for like 2 years now, which is really a problem. I think the mindset, like because one of the things people have talked about a lot with Wiggins is the aggressiveness and the mindset. Like, I think maybe that's getting back. Like he's definitely attacking more in isolation. He's posting up. He's trying to drive past people, but even there, even when he's getting to the basket, the finishing ability it feels a little bit diminished. I don't know what exactly it is, but like there's some jump hooks that are not going now that would have. There's some middies that are not going now that I feel like would have. There's a couple layups. I think he smoked at least one lay today. Maybe it wasn't like a smoked lay, like like an open layup, but it was definitely an attempt at the rim that I felt he could have easily gotten to go that he didn't.
I think all this highlights, unfortunately, that when we say that he's coming back, it's more that he is coming back to some competent form, some form of usage to us. Before, it was just like he was unplayable.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was making the team worse when he was out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now it's more that he is a good role player to us, not a second offensive guy to us. I wouldn't even say a third to us. I think after Steph and then Kuminga, it's just and the rest of.
It's gonna have to be Clay, guys.
And here's a perfect segue to my next point. Unfortunately, Clay had an atrocious game tonight. Atrocious.
Yeah,
And
he's
I don't even know for how much of the fourth he wasn't there, but for a significant chunk of it, he wasn't even there.
Kerr at least did the right thing and subbed him out.
Thank God he did the right thing. He wasn't there. It's been a string of. Again, here's the thing. It's just I just don't really trust him with the ball. Unfortunately, I hate to say that. What do I mean by that? Am I saying that, dude, God, get it out of his hands? No, I don't mean that. I just think, oh God, what's gonna happen? Either it's gonna be, holy crap, he made that, or whoo, Clay with this 1 foot stuck out, kind of hopping type thing, or it's gonna be like a, what the hell was that? What
Yeah.
was that? What are you doing, dude? Pass it. Like, why
I
are
mean
you
it's
actively? Are you actively trying to make us lose? You look at his stats from the last 2 weeks. It's just up and down. We had 3 really good games in the end of January, 24, 16, 24, then 14, 10, then 8, then 18, and then tonight 5. So it's just like up and down, up and down. It's so inconsistent, and we cannot have that in the playoffs. We just literally cannot. But what does that mean in a positive way? We are doing well. We're winning games with him not being super 100% there. Wes, you seem like you have to say something. I keep on going on, so I'm not giving you a moment.
yeah. I was gonna what you guys said about Wiggins, I thought I would have to like push back a little more, but I kind of agree with you what you guys said a little more. I mean, his box score is not like insanely like it doesn't really stick out, but like you can tell he's engaged defensively and like he's guarding Devin Booker pretty well tonight. And he's definitely more aggressive lately than he was like earlier in the season. Like he's like I said to start the game, him and Kuminga both posted up like Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, which is like you love to see. Like at least they're trying to post up, and like this wasn't his best game, but like in some of the previous games, he's like, I think against Atlanta he was playing pretty aggressively, even though we lost. But onto Clay, I guess like yeah, there's not much positives. I mean, I noticed tonight like this is like only a slight positive, but basically everybody was engaged defensively, which is like I think that kind of starts with Wiggins because like when he's engaged defensively, he's guarding their best player usually. and that kind of translates to like, okay, Clay only has to guard Rose O'Neal, so that's not like an insane task for him to do, or he's only guarding KD off ball, which is not like insane task to do. But yeah, Clay offensively, it's really like you said, up and down. And I thought the trade deadline would pass, and then a lot of pressure would be relieved from him because he was in a lot of trade talks. But and there was like a lot of like awkward interviews with him, like about like, is he going to get traded? Are you going to be a Warrior? Like, how do you feel about being a Warrior? And like it was just kind of awkward, but I don't know. It doesn't really seem like it's been relieved from him, like it has with like Wiggins and Kaminga and the other guys. But yeah,
I
I would
think,
kind of agree.
and I mentioned this briefly on the chat, and then I was doing like the classic, like give my a take and be like, okay, guys, we gotta stop talking, and then I would continue going on and be like, okay, Wes, we gotta stop. I would just keep on yapping, and then I'd be like, all right, guys, we gotta stop. I genuinely, wholeheartedly believe we should have traded him. Now, what do I mean by that? See, I mean this out of love, not out of hate. See, there's two ways you could like say this. Like as a hater, please trash, get him out of here. Or on the flip side, look,
Honestly, I don't know where you're going with this, but I think the chemistry would be like 10 times worse if we did trade Clay, because like Steph
if we
and
did
Dre,
or we didn't.
they have if we did, I think the chemistry would be like terrible because Steph and Clay, I mean Steph and Dre and even Wiggins, they have like enormous attachment to Clay Thompson. Like they played with him for over a decade. I mean, I don't think you can like trade him. And that's why like I thought it would feel like a brash decision to like trade someone like Clay Thompson, who's like a staple of this dynasty, on kind of like a like I don't know what you would get back in return. Like Clay's value is an all-time low. I mean, that's my assessment. Like his value is at an all-time low. You wouldn't get much in return, and you would lose some chemistry undoubtedly. So yeah.
I think for me, it's just that if you look at like the stat that Tommy sent a while ago, I am trying to find the stat. If I can't find it in 5 seconds, I will give up the search. I'm gonna give up the search. Basically, the stat was that we have lost a significant more games with him on the court than without. Now, what do I mean by that? Look, as a diehard Warrior fan since I've been 11, watching him, and he's been a key part of this dynasty. He's given us a lot. Now, Clay, for the Warriors, for us, if you want to help us, I think he should have been traded. He should have been okay with that. Now, what I mean by that, when you trade Clay, you can still get a good piece or two because he could still be a valuable piece. Now, you do bring up a good point that his value is at an all-time low. His contract is really big. But the problem is that because I'm sure he probably wants a lot of money in the offseason type thing. So it's like, but you don't deserve it. Respectfully, you don't deserve it at all.
Yeah.
You don't deserve it at all. You're not a good guard on-ball defender at this point. You're a good defender for bigger, slower guys. Like, he did a good defensive play on Nurkic tonight that we were like, look at that, dude.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I feel like and you're talking about the chemistry and all that. I feel like when he's on the court, it messes the flow more than when he's off.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the nature of the game. That's the game. Like, yeah, if they would have traded him, it would have been crazy, insane. But after a certain point, it's like, how much are you gonna you're just gonna take the slow poison of him slowly getting worse? His attitude is not very appreciative or kind of understanding of the situation type thing too. So it's like,
You guys
what do
keep
you do?
saying that the guy's been benched to close like 3 times this season. What is he refused to practice? Is he refused to play? He's been getting slowly phased out. He's playing less and less minutes each game. You can go back and watch. He's clearly, his role is slowly diminishing. He's taking less shots each game. The attitude, I think, is, if you're talking about like his demeanor on the court, he's always been he's kind of a weirdo. Let's face it. Like the way that he acts in just in a personal way, like his expressions, the way that he kind of interacts with other people, like it's a little bit weird. He's certainly not an emotive guy, with the exception of one incident with Devin Booker. He's usually not the kind of guy to be, yelling and screaming. He kind of goes for more of that cold-blooded type thing where, you have a big moment, you just give a straight face, like I knew I was gonna do that, right? I think and this is my opinion, I think people are reading more into Clay's facial expressions and attitudes about him having a bad attitude about taking on a reduced role. I think people are reading into it too much. I have yet to see something that made me go, "Wow, he's an attitude issue. This is a locker room cancer type thing." I think he's the same way he's always been, and he's going to answer questions with a little bit of an attitude because he's always answered questions with a little bit of an attitude. I'm sure you guys remember. I guess he got his feelings hurt. I don't want to bring that up, but
Oh
uh,
yeah, yeah.
he's always been just a little bit of a jerk to the media. He's always been just a little bit weird on the court and off the court. But that's who he is. To me, until he comes out in an interview and says something like, "I just wish I was getting more minutes," which he hasn't said once. The one thing he said was like, it's a big adjustment not closing out games. Of course, it's a big adjustment. That's just true. That to me did not sound like locker room cancer material at all. Again, maybe tomorrow you could come out and say, I think it's a disgrace they're not playing me, and I'll have to take all this back. But he hasn't done it yet. He didn't do it after this game when he wasn't closing it out. I don't know. I understand where people are coming from because I'm human. I can see the way that he acts, and there's there is something a little bit there's a little bit of something maybe there, maybe under the surface, but
Maybe he's autistic.
maybe he's autistic. But like I don't think you can ascribe to him all of these like attitude problems when in practice he hasn't actually said or done anything that is detrimental to team culture.
Honestly, you are 100% correct. Actually, I fully concede my his attitude problem point I was making. It's true. He hasn't really been a problem. He does love and care for the Warriors for sure. I just think that like the media is obviously over exaggerating a lot. So I think when you see these posts like Clay seems unhappy because of his contract situation, blah 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 blah, it kind of gets to you and you're like, oh man, maybe. But you're absolutely correct. He never really seems to have voiced any problem or anything. I think he does love and care for the Warrior franchise
Yeah.
and the team and the boys and Kerr, and I think he has a lot of respect for everyone on the team to do that. With that being
I mean,
said, go ahead.
so I was just gonna say, I think Draymond kind of sets the bar pretty high for like how to handle like situations like this because like when he initially got suspended, that's like a huge blow to chemistry. Like one, it makes you seem selfish for getting suspended, and then your team's just gonna go on without you, and you're probably gonna lose games. And then they did end up losing games, but he handled it by saying
Right.
like, I'm not immune from like I should learn from this situation. Like I'm not immune to like mistakes. Like that was a mistake, me like punching Nurkic or whatever. And he came back and he basically like he created the best 5-man lineup this whole season. He solved the Kaminga Wiggins problem. Like he just got so many positives from what could have been like a really like shitty situation. It was shitty for a while. Like being in mediocrity and losing all those close games. That's just like that was like the worst feeling because you're not like terrible, but like you're just not good enough to really contend or anything. But like now we're like better than ever. Like this feels like a legit title team. If we had been playing like this all season, this would feel like a legit title team, but that's just not the way it is. But like the way Draymond like handles situation, he's just like so intelligent, so smart. I just like admire how he
Absolutely.
handles himself. But
I think
yeah.
it cannot be said enough. We are nothing without Draymond Green. We are nothing without Draymond Green. I'll say it for a third time. We are nothing without Draymond Green. The last 7 games we played against the Grizzlies. Starting with the first game in the 7 game that everyone is saying like we're 6 of 7 in our 6-1 in our last 7 games. We beat the 76ers, albeit with a hindered Embiid and then eventually a fully injured Embiid. We beat the Grizzlies without Ja, but they're trash anyways. We lost to the Hawks, unfortunately, in a close game.
That went into
Mind you
overtime.
guys, that went to OT where DeJounte Murray just cooked us. Then we
60
beat the
from
Nets,
Steph.
and then we beat the Nets. Again, not a very great team. We beat the 76ers again. Not a very great team again. But then we went and we beat the most explosive and fast offense in the league.
Which I just want to make a quick point about that because we didn't really do recaps of like all the past games in this. We were just more talking about players generally, but we held the Pacers to 109 points, and 109 points is not exactly like a quiet offensive night. It's not.
It had Tyrese locked up, bro.
But when you go back and look at the Pacers, they have scored over 109 points, or yes, they've scored over 109 points in I think 47 out of 57 games. I think that's what the stat was. So against the Pacers, we had a very good offensive night. So I just wanted to highlight that we took
defensive.
Did I say offensive?
You said offensive.
We had a very good defensive night, and I just want to highlight that because again, like you were saying, like this is an offense that is by every metric the most explosive in the league, and we handled them very well.
We handled them very well. And then today we went and we beat the Suns.
A contender
who-
with
a
3 All-Stars.
quote-unquote contenders. Now what does this show? This shows that number one, our defense has improved significantly because we're able to get stops now. We're able to get stops. Dre, GP2, Wiggins, they are our leaders from that on that front. And I'm so excited to see more of Wiggins. That also means that we are competing with the best of them, the Pacers, the Suns. We're gonna face the Clippers, who are on a tear because of, Harden is there, he's hooping. We're gonna face the Lakers again soon.
We gotta get back on that one, man. We need it.
Absolutely, we do. We need a blowout on that. Then we're gonna face the Nuggets, and then the Knicks, and then the Celtics and the Bucks. So we have some big games coming up. We really, really need our boys to show that we really got this. The one thing that is a little bit concerning is just these heart-wrenching, stress-inducing 5 years off my life games. We just can't really seem to get a game and just be like, against the Pacers, we actually had that game where we comfortably
We had
won.
2 back-to-back against the obviously like the very diminished 76. I mean, not even
I mean,
diminished.
3. We did that against the Nets.
Against the Nets. We against the Nets. Well, I think the Nets was close, and then we pulled away. But the 76ers and Pacers were back-to-back genuine blowouts, which were nice to see. I don't know if this is the kind of team that's good enough to be like blowing teams out on a regular basis.
But I don't think
you don't
blowing out is
need-
my point. It's more just about kind of having a grip on the game.
Yeah, well, especially being able to pull away from games at the end, like in the last 2 to 3 minutes, to make it so that instead of it coming down to the final possession, by the time you get the final possession, they're having to foul us because we went up 6 or whatever. Like that would be a lot nicer for my anxiety levels. I don't know how realistic of an ask that is though. If there's one thing this team seems to be really good at, it's getting into those close games. Because even if you go back and looked at our losses, I bet, I mean, I don't want to say 50%. Honestly, I would say 50% of our losses were within 5 points. I would go that far. Right? We have had so many clutch games. And in fact, wait, if you pull up the graphic,
Pull this graphic. So we had 32 against the Hawks, and now we've played how many games since then? We played the Nets, but that was a comfortable win. Sixers, Pacers were also, then the Suns tonight.
so 33 of our like 50 games about played have been quote unquote clutch games. That's just shocking.
And we've been 16 of 18 in that.
Yeah.
So it is a thing to note, but I guess just one thing that worries me is just in the playoffs, if every game comes down to the wire, Curry will eventually miss a shot like that.
Yeah.
So you cannot count on Curry every time to show up and hit a big game-winning shot. And unfortunately, another problem is that in OT, we've not been good. We've just not been clinical enough. I really want to see a couple, maybe 1 or 2 more OTs throughout for the rest of the regular season where we win OT. And we're like, yo, we could do it.
Yeah.
So
And there have been so many times when like we start OT and then they just go on like an 8-0 run and then it's already over at that point.
it's over.
Yeah.
So we have I think a game that will be a clinical game. Will for sure
Clippers.
Clippers. That is going to be on Wednesday. The Jazz will be not a clinical game in the regard that they're a really competitive team.
You mean critical? Hold on.
Critical?
Clinical.
I said critical.
I thought you were saying clinical.
No, I'm saying critical.
Ah.
I thought you said clinical.
Maybe I actually said clinical. I'm meaning critical. A critical game against the Jazz just because we need wins on our record. Not because they're like, oh my God, if we beat them, we're gonna be contenders. We're on a little bit of a win streak as well. So why not continue that? We're on a 4-game win streak. Let's take it to 5 against the Jazz, head in against the Clippers with a 5-game win streak, dominate them, I believe, at home.
Heading into that Clippers game with a 5-game win streak would be very kind of eerie because it would echo a lot that Denver game from
Absolutely.
a month ago where it's
Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Day. It's a contending team in the West. We head in on a 5-game winning streak. Obviously, that game we
didn't have Draymond. We didn't have Draymond.
Was an absolute disaster of a game, but also lost in all of that was that we went into the fourth quarter up. Oh, I guess not really lost because everybody knows we gave it the lead up, but we were on a 5-game winning streak. We were this close to having what was damn near a blowout win against the best, what most would consider the best team in the league, and then everything fell apart. This could be the chance to right that ship, and if we could beat the Jazz and beat the Clippers back to back, all of a sudden you're talking about a 6-game win streak with wins over 3 very good teams that people expect to be contenders. Like, I think that would. I mean, obviously, it doesn't matter what
The
meeting
Jazz, the
what
Jazz, the
I'm saying.
Jazz are
In the 6-game win streak, we would be talking about
The Clippers,
the Clippers,
Suns.
Suns, and Pacers. I guess Pacers are maybe not contenders, but they're
yeah,
playing.
Well, they're a good team. They're a good team.
They're a good team. The
yeah,
point
they
of-
are. Yeah,
Media narratives matter, but I think that would be the point at which people really start talking about, okay, the Warriors are back. And honestly, that's a good thing because it signifies that we've done enough, that even in the eyes of unbiased fans, like,
No, and it's a huge confidence boost for the boys.
yeah,
For the Hoopers out there, dog. You need to be mentally confident that we are a goddamn championship team. So a lot to look forward to. I'm excited again as a Warrior fan. I'm feeling the same feeling I had when we were like heading in with the win streak against Denver before it all fell apart. I'm even more excited because GP2 is back. Dre is hooping. So knock on wood. With that being said, let's now shift on to trivia. Thomas is now in the living room, so I'm actually at Thomas's house right now. He came back to the Bay for us to watch Super Bowl together. Let's go Niners. So that's why we had to make him go out of the room so we could discuss his player, and then I'm gonna call him back. Same thing will happen to me. I'll go out of the room, come back, and then Wes, we'll just mute ourselves because we're gonna be right next to each other. So I'm gonna whisper now. Hopefully you guys at home could hear.
ASMR.
ASMR. I'm your boyfriend while you're trying to take a nap. Have you seen those ASMRs? Your girlfriend telling you good night.
I actually don't watch that stuff, but I guess
Okay, well,
you do, right?
all right, buddy. All right, so I think
I was thinking Tony Kukoc because I think he knows. Do you know who Tony Kukoc is?
like the Grizzlies.
Okay, I think if no, he was a 6-man on the 96, 97, 98 Bulls.
I feel like that's a little bit too hard.
Too hard?
Yeah.
Okay. Who are you thinking?
Off the top of my head.
I think he knows Kukoc. He definitely he knows
Kukoc, but
Kukoc.
it's like okay, we gave him like kind of a bum last time. We could give him more like of a all-star caliber player.
Kukoc is an all-star. He's like a 6-man. He wasn't like a nobody.
Let's see how many time all-star.
Actually, I don't think he's a anytime all-star, but he was a 6-man.
Yeah, he
3-time.
was an all-star. So let's give him
Yeah,
like an
but-
all-star caliber player.
Okay.
Kemba Walker.
That's kind of too recent. Actually, yeah, let's do that. That
Okay.
works.
All right. So fans at home, we've officially given Thomas Kemba Walker. And with that being said, I'm gonna go out and come back. And we will go from there.
Yeah.
all right, guys, I am back. It's time to pick Hassan's player. I did have an idea about that. Dwight Howard. Do we think is that an acceptable range of difficulty?
I feel like we could do slightly more difficult. I mean,
Okay.
Dwight's pretty.
We did give you Akeem, so
Yeah. What about Chris Bosh? Slightly more.
okay, yeah. I like that.
All right. Chris Bosh it is.
Chris Bosh, it is. All right, let me go call
Alright.
in Hassan, and we will do Wes's.
We're all three back together. Thomas and I in the same room. We're gonna mute. Ooh, actually, I don't want to mute ourselves because then they won't be able to hear us. Wes, can you like close your audio? No, you just close your audio. Just mute it, and I'll give you a thumbs up. You muted it. Good. I think so. You got anyone off the top of your mind?
I did have an idea.
Who?
Bob Cousy. Legend of the game.
Dude, what is it
Hall
with
of
you and
Famer.
like old ass players?
That's more fun than just like, oh, this guy who plays right now.
No, we could give him like a small player in a recent.
Why would you
team.
want to do that? That's so boring.
Not really. Like literally, what about Cole Anthony?
Exactly. That's so boring. I don't. Who gives a fuck
mean,
about
I-
Cole Anthony?
I mean, that's the fun part though. Like how deep do you know ball type thing?
How deep do you know? So like knowing Bob Cousy, that isn't. So
Not
you,
really, it's like a.
you think Bob Cousy gonna be easier or harder than Cole Anthony?
I just think it's lame.
What?
I mean, if you want to give it to him, sure, why not?
I mean, I also just kind of want to make sure it's not him who wins.
Okay, but see, that's not like I don't
I
like.
gave him Akeem, dog.
I mean, honestly, facts. We give him Bob Cousy.
Yeah, come on.
Thing is that I don't know a lot of the answers to those questions. That's another problem too. He'd be like, so
Actually, but, like if we give him Bob Cousy, like he could actually. What if he was like
he could
did
narrow
he
down
play
really
before
quickly.
1970? You're like, yeah. And it's like, oh, It's
That's
like
okay.
five
Give him
guys.
more like in the 80s, 90s, 80s to
Honestly, let's
2020.
give him. I know Kalanick's already mentioned that, so definitely not him because that would be too obvious. But like, ooh,
Like Jared Allen.
that's good. That's good. Yeah.
But then I feel like it's current day, so it's like boom, quick.
Okay.
So let's do someone who's retired, someone like that.
No, I don't want anybody.
The Bulls with Derrick Rose. Ugly as hell. Joakim Noah.
Joking Noah. Yeah.
Was he ever?
exactly.
He was an all-star, right?
Yeah.
One-time all-star?
Yeah. Joking Noah.
Okay,
Joking
perfect.
Noah.
Wes, you could come back.
All right.
All right. So let's start it off. Let's see. Let's go darkest to lightest this time. Last time we went lightest to darkest.
Okay.
All right. So who's the darkest out of us?
It's my main man Hassan.
Wow, that's
Who's
racist as
Who's
hell.
of Pakistani descent.
You didn't have to dox me.
The dogs you. There's like a billion of you guys.
It's actually like 330 million. But you literally doxed me. It's kind of a little bit disrespectful. Why couldn't I be Irish?
Why couldn't you?
With a name like Hassan?
Hey, no, yeah. Why couldn't you be?
My people didn't go that far,
Yeah, tough.
unfortunately. Tough. Okay, my first question. Okay, God. Whew. So always more pressure on the guy who starts first.
Wanted this, bro.
Yeah, is my player retired?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know why Thomas was like,
Yes, yeah.
okay, Thomas thinking about it really hard.
I'm trying to remember what you said last time about don't show your hand.
Yeah, don't show our hand,
Yeah,
Wes.
I'm,
Okay.
I'm trying to be better
Go
about
ahead.
that. I wasn't gonna just.
All right, next. Who is lighter between you and Wes? I feel like Wes, Loki. Your
Maybe.
face is slightly more tan.
Okay.
Also, he's in winter in Michigan, so less sun, so that's why his skin is lighter as well.
Okay. So that means that makes me second, right?
Yep,
Uh.
second darkest in the room.
So honestly, I don't want to like copycat, but I feel like that's the best question to start with. Is my player retired?
Who's your player?
No.
Wait,
Okay.
who's your
Active
player
player.
again? I have to remember your player.
Wait,
again.
what?
Wait.
See, this is why I wrote it down. That's why I wrote it down, bro. I have it written down, but he's not retired.
Wait, who the hell did we even give? Wait! Don't text
Oh
me.
my
Let me
god,
just
bro.
Let me think for
Okay.
a moment.
Guys.
Let me think for a moment.
Wait, Thomas, do you want to just like plug your ears and I can just like say it?
Can you like, or Wes, just message me on. Can you just text it in the chat? And don't look, Thomas.
Yeah.
Okay, text me in the chat real quick. I apologize to the fans at home. I don't know why I'm like brain farting, like severely. Right. Okay, so what was your question again?
Is he retired?
He's not retired.
Okay.
Oh, my turn. Is my guy retired?
What's this guy? Bro, do I have dementia? Wait, just whisper it to me.
Okay, I'll say no.
Wait, 1 second, Wes. All right. Is this guy retired?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, back to me. So my guy is not retired.
No, he is retired.
He is retired.
Yeah.
Did my guy was my player an all-star?
Yeah.
My turn.
Thomas's turn. Yeah.
Can you sit closer?
Yeah, my bad. Sorry, I'm just thinking. You guys said my player was retired?
No, he's not retired.
No, yeah, he's not retired. Active player. Active player. What's a good question? I guess. Does he have a ring?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. No.
Okay, go ahead, Wes.
Was my player ever an all-star?
Yes.
Was my player an all-star in the 2000s?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank the freaking Lord it's someone in the modern era, not freaking in the 40s.
Okay, my player, no ring. That's not. He already told me that's not my player.
Yeah, it's not Tony Kukoc.
Yeah.
But damn, quick eye that you noticed that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna search something about your
No
player.
ring, no retired. I guess has he ever made it an all-star team?
Yes.
Does my player have a ring?
No.
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 No, don't what?
No, I was just searching something else.
Okay.
Um,
I need to search.
so my player was an all-star in the 2000s.
Yes.
Was he an all-star? Was he a multiple time all-star?
Yes.
Thank God.
Um. Sorry, I don't want to think too much. All-star, not retired, no ring. I think. Was my player drafted before 2010?
No.
Okay.
Was my player drafted in the 2000s?
Yes.
Yes.
Was my player in all-star? Did my player have an all-star before or after 2005?
Has to be yes or no, right?
Yeah. You could just say before.
Did my player have an all-star after 2005?
Yeah.
Does my player currently play for an Eastern Conference team?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, has my player ever won like uh I don't know how to say this, like an award, like MVP, DPOY, Rookie of the Year?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk out loud because I think you should do that too, Thomas. You think out loud so we
Yeah.
have some audio versus it's just like you silently being like, so I don't want to take too much time though. It's just awkward time for temporary. I'm gonna think aloud so the fans at home can follow where I'm thinking. So my player is a multiple time All-Star. He had an All-Star after 2005, so that means that. Oh, and I said 2000s. He also had an All-Star in the 2000s. That was another thing you guys just want to clarify.
Yes.
That 2000 means 2000 to 2010,
Yes.
right?
Yes, he is an all-star in the 2000s, but after 2005 could also, of course, be in the 2000s. So you could possibly say that's a terrible question to ask. Because
I'm actually kind of stupid. I meant in the 2000s, like as in like the 2000s, like 2000 to 2010, not like 2000s as in like 2000 to 2024.
that's not necessarily what we meant. That's how we interpreted the question.
You guys interpreted it like that, right?
Yeah.
So let me clarify. It means that he is an all-star anywhere between 2000 and 2010, correct?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
That means that he also has it between 2005 and 2010. That actually narrowed it down. So it wasn't actually a stupid question. I was trying to narrow down which half of the 2000 he was an all-star in. So he was an all-star between 2005 and 2010. Does my player have multiple all-stars between 2005 and 2010?
Yeah.
Yes. Come on, baby. All right. Making some decent, respectable progress.
Okay. So we have a current player, I think. Although I have a little bit of a hard time discerning what's going on with this guy by the way that they're reacting. He's made an all-star appearance before. He's never won a ring, and he plays in the Western Conference theoretically, but they laugh when I asked Eastern Conference, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I mean, this feels like a waste of. Maybe you guys are trying to bait me into asking like a dumb question, so I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go there. Has my player ever averaged over 25 points a game?
Let me check. Yes.
Okay.
Uh, is my player a guard?
No.
No.
Okay. Uh, is so okay. So now for the fans at home, again, we're gonna follow on. So my player is a multiple All-Star between 2005 and 2010. He's retired, so that means that he was at the end of his career around that time. Not necessarily, but he was. Okay. So he has multiple All-Stars between 2005 2010. That could be anywhere from like 2 to 5. Um, he is retired, multiple All-Stars. Now, I guess I should lean towards determining what conference he played for and his position. So this question, this round, I'll ask what conference he played for. Did he play for the Eastern Conference in the
Yeah.
in the late 2000s?
He's supposed to be yesterday. Oh wait, one more time. That is the yesterday.
Yeah, sorry. His
I'm a little bit-
his first language is Irish.
I'm a little bit stupid. Yes, he did play within the Eastern Conference.
That means like the entire 2005 2010, like for the entirety of that 5 years.
You
Yes.
just said, did he play? But
and
yeah.
I will say but yeah, I guess we already gave the information away, but yeah. Is my player taller than 6'2"?
No. Did my player play in the Eastern Conference?
Yes. Now, for the fans at home, so I know he was an Eastern Conference player between 2005 2010. He had multiple All-Star appearances. Now it's probably a good idea to find out what position he played for. So, let's go for guard because that has point guard and shooting guard if he was not a guard. So it takes out 2 from 1. Was my player a guard?
No.
Great. So it knocks out 2 positions for me.
Does my player have more than 2 All-Star appearances?
Yeah.
More than 2.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through what I know. So he's retired, was an All-Star, no ring, drafted in the 2000s, has some kind of significant award, MVP, DPOY, Rookie of the Year. He's a forward or a center, and he played in the Eastern Conference. I'm just gonna narrow down. Did he win an MVP?
He did not.
All right. So now, guys, I'm going to narrow down if he was a forward because that will be 2 positions as well. So if he's not a forward, that means he's obviously only a center. Was my player a forward?
No.
Great. So now I know he's a center. He's a multiple All-Star. He played in the
Was he a forward? Yes, he was.
What was he known for? Because one guy said no, one guy said yes. I mean, KG, I guess, was sometimes a forward, sometimes a center type vibe I'm picking up. For the fans at home, I'm leaning towards KG. That's not my guess. I want to reiterate. I'm just trying to let the fans know what I'm thinking. So I don't understand the confusion here, though. Can you guys please clarify? Because one guy said no, guy said yes for he was a center.
Players can be like listed as multiple positions.
Okay.
But I'm assuming so he was predominantly known to be a center, though.
I can't answer that. But
Well, Thomas gave that away.
Yeah, I mean, I can't answer it. That's what I'll say.
I mean, he's listed as both, but yeah.
Yeah, power forward center. Okay, good.
I can't help but feel like I'm very close to just knowing who the guy is. I mean, how many under 6'2" is there's not a lot of guys of that height. More than 2 All-Star appearances means at least 3. There's not a lot of guys with at least 3 All-Star appearances. I know he currently plays in the Western Conference. I don't want to take too much time, but I damn near think I could just figure it out who it is by just checking guys under 6. Who could
Wait,
this
should
be?
we be allowed to do that? I feel that's kind of cheating if you're searching online for assistance.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
is
gonna
kind of
look the
cheating.
question up exactly. I guess fine, fair.
I feel we should be using no internet.
Oh, sure. Well, I know at least you and I have both violated that rule in just this. short time.
No, for other people, like to answer their questions, but not for ourselves.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like for example, if we don't know for sure if your player did something, we can search that online to give you.
Yeah, no, I know that. I was just thinking like, okay, well, I violated that a lot the first time I was playing.
Like last
Yeah,
game.
like last game.
Like last game, like yeah, I did the same. So I think we should officially do it just so it's like more competitive.
Okay. Well, who are they playing in the Western Conference? Thunder. Jesus Christ. Oh wait. Oh wait. Is my player known as the point guard?
No.
No.
What? Wow. I thought I had it.
Did my player win Rookie of the Year?
I'll do it faster.
He did not.
He did not. He did not. All
Okay.
right, so fans at home, let's follow along at where I am currently. My guy was an Eastern Conference player from 2005 to 2010. He's currently retired. He was I'm guessing predominantly a center, but also a power forward. Multiple time All-Star between 2005 to 2010. Let us see now. Did my player play for the Celtics?
No.
Okay,
No, he did not.
okay, that was a stupid question. I should have asked a better one, but so he's not KG. That clarified that. Talk to the fans.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Damian Lillard. I think he's 6'3".
Wait, did you ask if it was CP or did you just say
I
is he
said
known
is
as
my
the point
player known as the point guard.
guard? Okay.
I would like to. I don't know if that's spam. I would like to say nobody told me I couldn't do that. I think
Yeah,
it's
that's
very
fair.
Yeah,
clear.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
fair. That's fair.
I can't be Damian Lillard because he currently plays in the Eastern Conference. There's just no. I mean, under 6'2". I just want to clarify that guy. You said he was under 6'2". I need to ask that like 100 times.
You asked
many-
if he's taller than 6'2".
Okay, but 6'2" and under. I mean, because that would even rule out Steph. That would rule out like another guy like John Morant's also 6'3". I'd rule. I mean, small guards who made more than 2 All-Star appearances. You have a guy like, I mean, the most famous short guy is obviously Isaiah Thomas. He only made 2 All-Star appearances though, so it can't be him. Devin Booker is 6'4", can't be him. Man, it's weird because I feel like I'm as close as I could possibly get, but I still feel very lost. There's obviously a very obvious player that I'm missing. Shoot. Has my player ever averaged more than 10 assists in a season?
I'm pretty confident, yes.
It sounds like the point guard to me.
No, never.
He was pretty damn close to it, though. All right.
Yeah, just tell me who it is.
No, he was never really that close actually.
So
Better not be lying, Wes. That'd be very cheap.
I mean, it depends what you count as close, but
But yeah,
in my
I mean,
opinion,
I'm
not
just
really.
saying, like, you know.
it was fun.
Did my player ever win DPOY?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Okay, there's only like so many of those. So
Really,
Interesting.
there's only so many.
So for me, guys, I know he's not KG. He didn't play for the Celtics. He's a multiple All-Star, power forward / center, predominantly center. Multiple All-Stars, 2005 2010, and he was in the Eastern Conference. He wasn't on the Celtics. Who were some dominant big men of that era? Pau was with the Lakers. Timmy was also with the Lakers. I'm sorry, the Spurs, which is a Western Conference
Yeah.
team. On the East, we have the Celtics. We have the Heat. The Heat. Christopher Bosch. If I'm not mistaken. Quite curious. Quite curious. But I don't think it's Chris Bosch because Thomas is having either a great poker face, but I feel like I could read through him generally. But this time I don't know. I don't know if I could read through it. Chris Bosch could be a possibility. We got the Heat, the Magic. Dwight Howard was in the finals when? But Dwight was never really a power forward, so I wouldn't, and I don't even think he was playing then. Multiple time All-Star as
I don't think
Chris-
he was playing then.
Yeah, so appreciate that.
Like Dwight. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you overthink it. So definitely he wasn't there. The Raptors didn't really have anyone.
What? That's not true.
The Raptors?
I'm just saying about Dwight Howard. Like that's like his entire peak.
So then why'd you like why were you kind of like,
You said you didn't think he was playing then. I'm just like, that's so wrong. I feel like I have to correct it.
oh yeah. Okay, so so Dwight Howard,
I'm trying to save you from the our many loyal fans who might think you're casual.
sometimes you overthink, guys. So Chris Bosh with the Heat. We have Dwight with the Magic. Trying to remember when Kobe. Right, Kobe beat Dwight in the late 2000s. Yes. So Dwight was a DPOY. Chris Bosh was not a DPOY, but he won a chip. So I guess this one question will knock out either Chris Bosh or Dwight. It could be either of them. Neither of them. Did my player ever win a ring in the? Do I ask if he won a ring in the 2000s? Did my player ever win a ring?
Yeah.
Okay, that is great. That's great.
My turn. Jesus Christ, dude. I am. Oh, wait. Damn, man. Look, guys, I have to say, I just want to put this out for clarity. If he's playing in Europe, to me, it's bullshit. You would say he's still playing. That would not. To me, that doesn't count. But I'm obviously asking, like, is he playing in the NBA? But I didn't ask that. And fair is fair, right? But I still think it's just a tiny bit cheap because I have an idea of somebody who it could be. He is 6'1", isn't he? And he's still playing. Definitely not on the Eastern Conference, but not on the Western Conference either. I know one of my co-hosts is getting dangerously close. Yeah, I mean, Son, he is too good at poker face. He wouldn't tip whether he's gonna guess next turn. Maybe he'll be wrong though. Did he make 3? I would have guessed. I would have sworn he only made 2. 3 All-Star appearances for Kemba Walker. That doesn't sound right, but I guess maybe it is. I know it's not Isaiah Thomas because that was my first idea, and that's why I asked the All-Star appearances question. So it can't be Isaiah Thomas. I know it's not CP3 because I asked the point guard question. Under guys who are 6'2" and under, there's just not a lot of them out there. And the only one that could possibly come to my mind who would have had more than 2 All-Star appearances but never won a ring, but also still be playing, but that laughing kind of makes sense now. Okay, I'm gonna make my final guess. Is my player, Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh!
Wow, that was really good. That was really, really good. That was really good, man. That was really good.
Let's go.
But that also tells me that I got my player as well. Yeah, I'm gonna guess next round. But I want to be fair. I was before you, so I don't think I could guess because you went after me.
Okay, yeah, fair.
So
Yeah, it makes
this
sense,
like was in this round you did it
Yeah.
for me. So you won.
Wes, you could have a chance at a tie
You
if
could
you have
guess
any idea.
if you're, but
Dude,
I don't think I
guys-
think Wes has 0.
You guys could play for second.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, okay. Here's how
but
I'll think out loud for my guess. I'll think out loud for my guess. So I know it's a DPOY, drafted in the 2000s. Doesn't have a ring though. Most DPOYs have a ring. Like Marcus Sol has a ring. Ben Wallace has a ring. Dwight has a ring. Draymond has a ring. Kawhi has a ring. Tyson Chandler has a ring. What are the other DPOYs? I'm trying to think. Eastern Conference too. That's why like Ben Wallace kind of jumped out of the page. Can I look at like teams so I know what
No,
teams?
I feel like that's kind of like I did that last time. That's why I didn't do it this time either.
Oh, so you did last time too.
No, so we kind of said that this time we wouldn't.
Okay,
do-
Detroit, Chicago. Joakim Noah, actually, that's a potential. That's not my guess, but he did win DPOY, so I'm gonna note. And I don't think he ended up winning a ring because he went to New York.
for
He
him.
bounced around, but I don't think he won. And he's a center, so or center forward, whatever. Joakim Noah, that's an option. Drafted in the 2000s for sure because he was playing with like D Rose in those early years. He's a pretty good guess. I think. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go with him. Joakim Noah.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
good, yeah.
That's really freaking good. Holy crap. All right.
Let's
I guess
go.
I'll guess two. This is the next round. So I realized when I asked you, did my player win a ring? You guys said he did, right?
Yes.
So Dwight did win a ring with the Lakers, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate. So that doesn't really cancel out Dwight or Bosh. But I feel like Thomas specifically noted out that he did play, so that would be like my opposite. I'm gonna go with Chris Bosh.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's Chris Bosh. Yeah. I said bang, bang, bang.
I mean, we were on
That
fire.
was- yeah,
This was
yeah.
good by the three of us. Like, holy crap! Honestly, I count this as a tie in my books, but we got to give it to Thomas.
Well, okay.
oh,
the
wait,
reason
no,
it's
the
not
tie
bad-
between-
Tie,
the
tie.
tie
West-
between West.
Wes got it.
Yeah, but you had an extra round of like, you got to ask another question that we didn't get to ask. So,
Exactly.
like in this last round, you asked a question we just guessed.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's a.
No, that's why it's for sure. You guys are first. I'm second. But I mean, like, this was good. This was
That
like,
was
dude,
good.
This was good. Like,
that was
everyone-
good.
Yeah,
Very
this was
good close game.
very good close game. So again, so I was gonna say like he did retire, but then Wes was like, no, he's not. And technically, Wes is 100% right.
He's
not
right. No, you know what? As I said, fair is fair.
So a question next time for our future selves should be like,
It's a tiny bit.
is he in the NBA or not? You know what I mean?
I messed up the question. I was just noting.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm kind of
But I-
stupid because I laughed and that gave it away.
I was just
Well,
noting.
that's why I kind of felt good. Like we did kind of give it away a little bit by saying
You
like,
expect guys to have honor, you know, but
I mean, in
yeah.
a way, by laughing, I gave you
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
like
yeah,
wow.
yeah,
that's why I said Isaiah Thomas.
Eastern
what-
Conference.
That's why I thought Isaiah Thomas. That's the funniest because Isaiah Thomas is just like begging teams on Twitter to give him a roster spot. That's what I was thinking. Because like he's not retired, but like he is. So that my
Yeah.
mind immediately went to him. That's why I asked the under 6'2" question. But it actually ended up working out because I didn't also rule out Kemba Walker. So that gave me a clue. I was so sure on CP3. I was like, wow, it's got to be CP3.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was good. That was really good. I mean, man, I should have just went for Chris Bosh, man.
well, it could have been Dwight.
good poker face.
Had a good
Otherwise, you would have given it away for sure. If I saw you even like a sliver of a smile, boom, I would have guessed Chris Bosh on the spot.
Dude,
So-
shout out MVP Thomas.
Yeah, that was a good round. That was fun. See, like last game was horrible. I was genuinely like, bro, what the hell? And then Westlaw was easy as hell, like Stephen Curry. Is my player the greatest shooter of all time? Yeah. Does my player's first name start with W? Yes. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that type of vibe. So great game by us. Today was a long episode for the fans, 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Woo!
That's the recording time, but time
That's a
flies
record.
when time flies when you're having fun. So
Absolutely.
till next week, we have a big week upcoming for the Warriors. So take care, guys.